Hello and welcome to The Exchange. We're meeting at quarter time. It is when we're still, as a country, Sri Lanka is reeling from the effects of Cyclone Ditwah. Hundreds are dead, hundreds are missing, and thousands upon thousands are displaced. And in this context, India has stepped in yet again to help Sri Lanka out. And today I'm talking to the High Commissioner of India, His Excellency Santosh Jha. High Commissioner, welcome to The Exchange. High Commissioner, we'll talk about how India is stepping in with its aid. But first of all, coordinating all these things is a bit of a challenge. Let's start with the coordination element. How is the coordination? How is aid being coordinated with Sri Lankan areas? As there are various agencies apart from the DMC. How is that happening at this moment in time?
See, first let me convey my deepest condolences. I mean, this is a very difficult time for Sri Lanka. A natural calamity like this hits once in 10 years, 20 years, and a country has to cope with it. It's a very difficult time, and we are really, I had an opportunity to go to the community today and see the resilience of the people. So that is really admirable. The Prime Minister of India was the first to convey his condolences and immediately commit assistance to Sri Lanka. Yesterday, the President and the Prime Minister spoke to each other, and there was another clear commitment from our side that we will do anything and everything that is in our capacity to assist Sri Lanka in this difficult time. So that is something that has been our policy in keeping with our neighborhood first, where Sri Lanka as a neighbor is the first priority for us. I must say that we approach this issue not as a problem in another country. We approach them with the same commitment that we have for a problem in our own country. And that is why we are the first to step up. We immediately, as soon as we got the news early morning on 28, the leadership gave instructions and we were able to begin to deliver aid to Sri Lanka. I immediately got in touch with the people who are coordinating at the senior leadership level. I spoke to the Foreign Minister from Delhi, and we conveyed that we are sending some initial aid which we knew would be needed in these situations. We first actually got things out of the INS Vikrant, the Indian aircraft carrier, and the INS Udaygiri, who were here for the International Fleet Review. And then we immediately, simultaneously also started mounting an effort from India to fly our planes with the first supplies. Of course, we had to coordinate with the Sri Lankan side, and they were very welcoming and very ready. They supported us at every stage, from the time it arrived to the point when it has been sent out for dispatch. We are working in very, very close coordination and under the guidance of the Sri Lankan authorities. So we are not here going out and distributing aid ourselves. That would not be correct. It is for us to provide the material and then the Sri Lankan authorities to use them as they feel appropriate. Of course, I mean, we have our equipment here. For example, we have the two Mi-17 helicopters here, which are again working in close coordination under the guidance of the Sri Lankan Air Force and evacuating people, delivering assistance. We also have 2 units, I mean, of 40 each, 80 National Disaster Response Team. We call it the NDRF, the National Disaster Response Force, which is our national disaster response body, which is located in different parts of the country and is very much ready to deliver assistance in such situations. They specialize in natural calamities like earthquakes, like the kind of flooding that we are witnessing, or the cyclone that Sri Lanka has suffered. So these people are also on the field delivering aid and evacuating people. And again, they are working, as I saw on the spot at Seduwata today, they are working in close coordination with the Sri Lankan Army and the Air Force.
High Commissioner, now under the Operation Saghar Bhandu, I was going to ask you to sort of give a quantification of what is quantification of Operation Saghar Bhandu. I think you just did. But with any relief effort, the main issue is getting to the sites. So what sort of hurdles are the relief teams having to encounter or actually overcome in this process?
See, they will definitely in these situations very, very difficult. So our team has come equipped with that. We had, for example, when The first helicopter sorties were taken from INS Vikrant, the two Chetak helicopters. They were having the winch, etc., with which they could, pull out people from places where they would not be otherwise moved out, except without a helicopter. Subsequently, the Mi-17 helicopters that was requested by Sri Lanka, and we delivered them at quick time, are doing exactly the same. So they are delivering aid to locations, they are doing aerial survey, finding people in difficult situations, and then delivering aid or evacuating them as is needed. The NDRF, as I told you, is a very specialized force. They have a lot of experience, not just in India, but over the last just 3 to 4 years, I can tell you about a dozen countries have benefited from their expertise. This force has been developed exactly for this kind of a situation. They have come in with, the canines and these dogs that can actually find out people in rubble, and they also have equipment to find anybody under the rubble. They are specialists in digging out people from these kind of situations, and they have been helping with evacuation. They also have boats, inflatable boats. The equipment is state-of-the-art, very, very good. They know how to use it, most importantly. They are experts at this, and that is how we are trying to go out into the areas. So if you look at the NDRF, as soon as they arrived, they were sent to the two most difficult areas at that time, according to Sri Lankan authorities. One was in Badula, where 40 personnel are already working, still working, for the last 2 days. And they were for a day or two in Puttalam, and today they have come to outskirts of Colombo, where they are helping at Siduvatta, I think.
Let's not forget the presence of Indian nationals in Sri Lanka. Have there been instances, I know there were some instances, have there been instances, many instances where they were stranded and they had to be evacuated, located even?
Yeah, you would expect large number of Indians here because we have the largest number of tourists coming into this beautiful country. So one of our problems that we had not easily anticipated but came on us very quickly as the weather went from bad to worse, that the flights were cancelled and the people were stranded at the airport. So we were very quick to set up a help desk there. Again, very, very, cooperative approach from the Sri Lankan authorities to help us, to get us the access into the airport, to be able to send food and, water to the Indians stranded there who had been waiting for a very long time to catch their flight. And then gradually we tried helping them to get into the commercial flights that began to resume. We evacuated something like 2,500 Indians in the last 2 days, 400 of them by our Air Force flights that came in. So as you know, we had 4 Air Force flights that came in with supplies for Sri Lanka, and these were used to take back the passengers, so about 400 of them went back. So largely, I think now the problem is more or less minimized. We still have a few people coming in, being evacuated from places where they can't drive in, so they are being brought in to helicopters with the help of Sri Lankan authorities, and some of our own assets are being used for it as well. In coordination again, it's not only focused on Indians, but anybody who is stranded. There were, I think, in the first lot I read when I was in Delhi that nationals about 6 or 7 countries had been also evacuated with the help of the Mi-17s and the Chetak helicopters. So we are looking after them. I mean, now I think that part of the problem is more or less resolved, and we are now completely focused on the relief rescue activities that is going on in Sri Lanka.
My next question, High Commissioner, please don't think that this is in bad taste, but I have to ask this because there is something of a stigma. Now, given Sri Lanka's debt situation, India helped us out immensely during the economic crisis. Now, with that help comes a certain amount of speculation. There is some stigma. Now, how does the Indian High Commission ensure that this crucial life-saving aid is perceived strictly as an altruistic humanitarian assistance and not any attempt to sort of like leverage a disaster in strategic influence or so-called diplomacy or whatever it is?
First and foremost, we never do that. I mean, even when we had the line of credit, we were the first during the economic crisis to extend 4.1 billion assistance to Sri Lanka. We were the first to go to the IMF. We were the first to declare that we would be ready to restructure the debt. We were amongst the first to actually conclude that agreement. So anybody thinking this way needs to be, it needs to be clarified that there are no such thing that is happening. In any case, the aid that we are currently providing in terms of material is all humanitarian assistance. It is coming from in the form of a grant assistance rather than something that Sri Lanka has to repay or can lead to a burden on the taxpayer. As it is, the people here are overburdened at the moment of this crisis. And for anybody to expect that whatever we are then giving at this time, that there would be a return for it, would be mostly inhuman. Let me tell you what we are actually. I haven't really outlined what we have supplied and what we are planning to supply. That would be quite important for your viewers to know. We have supplied about 53 tons of relief material so far in 4 flights and 3 ships that we had, one that came from India and 2 which was docked here. 9.5 tons was delivered immediately by 11 a.m. on 28th itself. Then subsequently in various Air Force flights that came, 31.5 tons of material, including tents, tarpaulins, blankets, hygiene kits, ready-to-eat food items, medicines and surgical equipment were sent to this country. We have 4.3 million tons of medicines because we have this special relationship with Sri Lanka where large supplies of medicines happen. So we have been able to give them medicines that are already accepted here. And these are something that will be of great use. Then we have supplied 2 Bhishma cubes. These are, a real innovative thing. They are modular hospitals, trauma centers, exactly for disaster situations. So these are very small in size, very, very compact, but when they are opened up, they can be, it operates like an operation theater. It has x-rays and it has all these monitors for whatever the vital statistics of the patients are, and it can cater to 200 patients in a day, each one of those units. So there are 4 subunits in the 2 units that we have, and these are already deployed. Yesterday training took place and now today they have been deployed already. We have, of course, we used the 2 Chetak helicopters from the INS Vikrant, and then subsequently 2 Mi-17s are operating here, and 80 NDRF personnel that I have told you earlier. We are, as I speak, a plane is taking off from India, C-17, that will bring a field hospital that will cater to, with 70 personnel on board. It will be set up at a place that Sri Lanka decides to locate it to cater to the medical emergency. Then we had, on the specific request of the President yesterday to the Prime Minister, sending it 10 Bailey bridges. We will have the engineering cadres along with it to help with restoring bridges, 15 fast rescue boats with outboard motors, 10 logistics and surveillance drones, 6 satellite phones, and 500 water purifiers with 20-liter capacity each. This is today and tomorrow we will have these supplies. And subsequent to that, we are expecting another flight somewhere down the line, which will be with regard to another installment of food and other things that might be necessary. So this is, broadly speaking, the quantum that we have.
Quantum, yes. Another country, I mean, there are several countries which offer to help Sri Lanka, among them China and so forth. Your neighbors also stepped in, Pakistan. India provided airspace clearance for a Pakistan flight carrying aid goods to Sri Lanka. What was considered in making that decision? Was it an easy decision given the geopolitical situation between the 2 countries?
See, this is not a geopolitical thing. Humanitarian crisis is a humanitarian crisis. Any country that is today helping Sri Lanka is something that is helping Sri Lanka, and therefore it is, as a neighbor of Sri Lanka, as a friendly neighbor, very, very close, civilizational twin, I would say that it is natural that anything of that sort should be welcomed and facilitated. The trouble, however, is that this country has announced this, and is, whether it will be able to supply it or not, is then trying to blame it on another country for its inability, is wrong. I mean, if you are really interested in supplying and helping, then you should go ahead and do that, rather than use it for propaganda and try to put a blame game on, whether India is giving timely assistance or not, timely clearances or not. We received yesterday a request at 1:30 from Pakistan, and we provided the clearance by 5:15. That is how quick we have done that. So there is no question of not, providing those kind of clearances, particularly when the purpose of that is to help a country which is our neighboring country, which is a brotherly country, which is a country in real difficulty at a time of this humanitarian crisis. But the point, as I said, is that, I don't go to any country to seek help, to help another country, and don't use it to blame for propaganda purposes, in this regard. I mean, if they want to help, they should help straight away. There is enough time for them to be able to come here. We have given the clearance. The question should be, why is that aid not here, having announced it 2.5 days ago? 100 tons of aid, they said they're going, but not even a ton is here.
Understand. Now the immediate phase, or the first phase of the relief, after it ends, starts the long-term rehabilitation process. Number of sectors ahead: agriculture, health, and so forth. I mean, will India step in with long-term rehabilitation as well, maybe with financial or maybe technical assistance? Is that something you guys are looking at?
Oh, surely. I think, look, I mean, this is not the time to talk about it. I mean, there are 4 stages in any natural calamity. There is the rescue, there is relief, there is rehabilitation, and then reconstruction. These are the 4 phases. We are at the rescue relief phase. We will shift into rehabilitation reconstruction phase, and we will look into what the requirements is once the damage assessment is known, what are the requirements, what will be the priority. We will definitely, as the closest neighbor of Sri Lanka, it's probably the strongest developmental partner, we will be there at hand to assist wherever, whenever, whatever we can.
Now, India's rapid deployment in this crisis situation highlighted something of a gap in the local capacity. Now, in your view, what fundamental weaknesses in Sri Lanka's disaster response did this cyclone expose, if it did?
I don't quite agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
In the sense that the way you're putting it is probably not the right way of looking at it. In a situation like this magnitude of a natural calamity, most countries need assistance. I don't know of any country that has not sought or received assistance. So to say that just because another country is helping them is that they have a gap or incapacity is not true. It is this kind of very, very extreme weather condition can really keep even the best planned country in difficulty. And so this could be the case in any country. So I don't quite understand why you are getting into this at this time when we should be actually looking at filling the gaps which are there, which are more important, rather than looking. These are things that we can discuss subsequent to it. Of course, we have to learn from every crisis. We have to learn from the natural calamity that we have been inflicted upon by nature, and then see how we can do things better in the future.
The reason I ask is that if you follow local media, you must see a number of people have spoken to media and they've highlighted the fact that the relevant weather department, Department of Meteorology.
That's domestic politics of Sri Lanka. See, every time there will be such a situation, whether it is a natural calamity or another crisis, there will be people who will come with, ideas and criticism, and it's just natural. Sri Lanka is a democracy. That's actually a good thing that happens. So that kind of debate should take place, but that doesn't mean that this is a time that we would be discussing this. This is a time to actually serve the people, get people out of the difficult situation they are, and then get to the next stage. Of course, I mean, now having undergone this experience, I'm sure the government will want to be doing something that they are more in sort of control next time when such a thing hits, and that every country goes through that experience. It's not unique to Sri Lanka. What
about Sri Lanka's potential self-sufficiency in HADR? I mean, how can India help to us become for Sri Lanka to become self-sufficient in that respect?
We have a lot of HADR related trainings in the past that we have. Our exercises sometimes mostly are about disaster response. The bilateral military exercises, they're not purely military exercises. Many times they are about disaster response. In fact, there is a trilateral military exercise on disaster response between India, Sri Lanka and Maldives that's already instituted. We will also be working with the government on some of the best practices that we can bring in terms of disaster warning systems. We have already shared a concept paper with the government of the kind that we have in our country, where real-time alerts can be sent to people and they can be guided to do what next they must do. And similarly, also, how do you, when you are faced with a disaster, how to reach the remotest areas, how to get those capabilities, etc. We'll work on that. I mean, they will first-hand experience, not the first time, because they've been in the past that Indian NDRF has come here. And the NDRF has the ability to go to the remotest locations and operate. Similarly, the Bhishma tubes that I indicated to you, they can operate without electricity. They can be actually set up in the remotest locations. This is what happens when you have a natural calamity. The normal things are not available. The electricity will not be there. Telecommunication will be down. Internet naturally there will be an outage. So how do you operate in that situation? So we will work towards that kind of capability building in the future.
You mentioned sort of like now how there will be extreme climate events, and this is not the time to talk about that particular subject, which I broached, you sidestepped. Fine, but as far as the Operation Saghar Bhandu is concerned, now how will the lessons from this be sort of applied to maybe set up or actually enhance joint disaster preparedness, not just for Sri Lanka but also in the region, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, that is something that is part of the regional framework like BIMSTEC. We discussed that. There is a disaster response thing. We have disaster response in the Colombo Security Conclave, which is going to be headquartered in Colombo. These are things that we are continuously working on, and building capabilities, adopting best practices, not just from the region, but outside the region, sharing experiences and cooperating in real-time situations like the one that we have right now. I think the idea that India is coming for assistance is something that is very natural. Probably if we are in such a crisis situation, Sri Lanka can come to assist us. That is what regional cooperation is about, and the ability needs to be developed over a period of time. We will see how it grows in time, and those cooperative mechanisms will strengthen countries in their own capacity to deal with these situations. But I can tell you, in any given situation, neighboring countries will need to step up and help, because this entire island, I'm told that almost all 25 districts of Sri Lanka has been affected. So naturally everybody is looking after themselves, and they are unable to look at someone else who is worse affected. Now in that situation, a neighboring country like India, a friendly country, should naturally, therefore I always tell this, I said to some of the leaders who pointed it out to me to thank us for the support, that Sri Lanka shouldn't be surprised that we are helping. It is a very natural thing. It is something that we take it as a given that we should be doing. And I can tell you that on 28th morning, the leadership actually instruction from India to me was that we don't wait for Sri Lanka to ask, we begin to deliver immediately, because they will be in a crisis, they are dealing with the immediate situation. They will take time to ask for it, but we shouldn't wait, because every moment lost is many more lives lost, or many more, very vital moments lost. So we actually swung into action very early in the morning of 28th in India.
And it was also quite fortuitous that there were 2 vessels docked at the Colombo.
Yes, that was very, very fortuitous. There is no doubt about that. But even given that that thing was there, we were able to bring in as soon as the weather permitted. We were ready to deliver by the afternoon. Not, like one country which is trying to, blame another for propaganda purposes, that they are not being allowed to deliver this assistance that they so badly need to deliver. But in our case, we were able to arrive here by the midnight of 28th. Despite the bad weather, we were stationed in Kochi waiting for the weather to improve, and immediately pounced into Sri Lanka.
You spoke about this country, and this is the last question I assure you. If that country were to ask for assistance in a similar scenario, would you extend the similar level of assistance?
This is a hypothetical question. Don't answer those questions. That's a hypothetical if you are a politician or a diplomat.
High Commissioner, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the exchange.
Thank you. And it is, again, as I said, we will remain committed. We are, we have an unwavering commitment. I think the leadership in this country knows, the entire political class and the people of Sri Lanka should rest assured that we will stand by Sri Lanka in this hour crisis, as we have done always. and we will do always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.